Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me again. It is podcast time, the 29th of April here, where I am in the Southern Hemisphere, Tuesday. And yeah, I'll be looking ahead for this whole week, what energies we have, what we are navigating through. And yeah, so we're looking at Monday, 28th of April, and we're calling in a whole brand new month of May, looking until the 4th of May, until Sunday. And yes, we've been having really powerful weeks, haven't we? It's been quite a journey this whole year of 2025. Also, last week, I feel, was a really big week with so much Pisces energy, with Venus, Saturn, North Node in Pisces, karmic alignments, greater responsibilities, self-empowerment, creative tension. And also, yes, we still have the sun in Taurus moving along nicely in the central sign, the second sign of the zodiacal wheel, where Taurus is the sign after Aries. So things are slowing down with Taurus. And I feel that's a really good thing because we have a lot of speeding up energy. So we need a bit of that slow down. And in order to feel more grounded as we're integrating, as we are shifting, revising, readjusting, and yeah, and also a great opening up to our dreams, our visions, and moving things forwards, particularly as we are in a week still. Where all the planets are direct. So there is a lot more action when the planets are direct. And I'm just looking exactly. So this week on Sunday, and I'll talk more about that, when Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, stations to go retrograde. That's going to be the first planet going retrograde again. So we just had this short window of, woo, things are gaining momentum. If we've put things on a back burner, or if we've been feeling a bit stuck and things are not moving. So this is still a week of forwards movement and possibilities, opportunities coming our way, benevolence, and still a creative tension here. And not just a creative tension, also actually quite a feisty one, bringing up conditioned ways of being to the surface with Black Moon Lilith in the mix here. And so this week, I'll be talking about the major energies of the week are Venus moving out of her exaltation, which is the sign of Pisces. She's moving into Aries. So there we have a big energy shift here. And yeah, and I'll talk about that more. And I was just thinking, while there is a big energy shift from Pisces, the cosmic womb space, the reflective space, where our love is for the all and for a greater unity and our divinity, she's moving into the sign of Aries and immediately encountering Neptune, the Lord of the Sea, God of the Seas, and otherworldly energies. So, excuse me, I think I need to sneeze. Here you go. What does it all mean? I don't know right now. Yeah, so it's interesting that we have that transition from the Piscean energy, which Neptune rules Pisces, and Venus is exalted in Pisces, and now she's immediately meeting in a new realm, in a new playground of Aries. She's meeting again with Neptune that she's been so familiar with. So I find that's an interesting transition also because Aries is the sign we are initiating, we are moving forwards, new ideas, we are more assertive. And Venus is actually, she's coming out of a sign, her sign of exaltation, Pisces, into the sign where she's in her so-called detriment, because she's the furthest away where she's comfortable, which is the sign of she's very comfortable in the sign of Pisces, which is exalted, and she rules Taurus and she rules Libra. So Aries is the opposing sign of Libra, where she's the furthest away. So there she immediately, well, maybe not immediately, but she moves into a bit of a challenging territory, because Venus loves to be engaged with her senses, very sensual, sexual, as well as cerebrally engaged, and she is creative. She loves the flow, the receptivity of the feminine energy, and also her desire nature, and her what she likes, what we like and dislike. And then all of a sudden she is in the sign of Aries, which is the sign of the Emperor, ruled by Mars. It's yeah, it's a Mars ruled sign. And Venus, I feel, being in the masculine ruled sign, she's having a harder time to create that balance, because in Aries, she's more feisty. There's nothing wrong with that. She's feisty. She is assertive. There's also a certain reactivity. She could be aggressive in Aries, because she wants what she wants and she goes for what she wants. And there is a very strong will here. And so I feel that transition into the feisty sign of Aries, while there's a lot of forwards movement, she's encountering, so, and that's happening here in the Southern Hemisphere on the 1st of May. Also, the 1st of May, we have Beltane with, yeah, about the midpoint of the Taurus season, which it makes more sense when we're in the Northern Hemisphere, because, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. Yeah, but I don't like reversing important, yeah, seasons, mythologies, I feel, because some people in the Southern Hemisphere refer to the opposing, they turn things around. So it's not Beltane, it's Samhain here in the Southern Hemisphere. But I strongly disagree with that, because Samhain is the sign, yeah, the time of the dead, that goes from the past, which goes with the Scorpio nature. So now we have Taurus season, which of course makes a lot more sense in the Northern Hemisphere, because Taurus is when everything is blooming and more fertile. And so there's also a lot of new beginnings, and yeah, great fertility here, and a blooming. We are starting to bloom, while here in the Southern Hemisphere we are slowing down more. We're in autumn, coming into winter. So, but I feel, yeah, I don't turn seasons and festivities around, because we are in Taurus season, and Taurus is about our embodiment. It is about our nature. We are embodying our holistic way of being, the celestial with the terrestrial. And I feel that's what we are here in this human form. And there is a lot of new beginnings and forward movements. And I feel also, after all the retrogrades, Mars, Venus, Mercury retrograde at the beginning of the year, pretty much up until now, there's still some of the Venus, Mercury, still not Mercury, but Venus and Mars still in their retrograde shadow. So there's quite, yeah, we've done a lot of that rebirthing. We went through the birthing matrix, the tunnel, the surges of energy, yeah, I feel we've, so many of us have gone through this deep transformational process, and now there is a certain fertility coming, and we are implementing what we have learned. We've been cutting our losses. We are evaluating relationships that have been falling apart, maybe jobs we've changed, and so many situations, living situations, so many areas of life that have been changing, growing, some setbacks, some gains and losses. So it's really, I feel, yeah, we're claiming our own authority and who we are now. So this Venus moving into the sign of Aries is one of the bigger energies this week. And as I said, she's meeting exactly as she comes into Aries, boom, there is Neptune, which I feel it's a beautiful energy because yeah, Venus coming together with Neptune, there is an otherworldliness. It's a romantic energy. Venus and Neptune, very romantic, sensual, creative. There is a beauty, a harnessing of this existence of life itself, a celebration of the celestial, a celebration of the terrestrial, the physical body, enjoyment, and also a beautiful time when those two planets come together, which it's gonna ripple out into the rest of the week. It's a very imaginary, symbolic time where we feel the depth of existence, and also that flowing sense of communion with the all, with the divine. And what we might need to be a bit careful here is because Neptune and Venus, goddess of love, and if we're looking at maybe some romance, to not have the, what is it, to be, we can be optimistic, but not with a misty optic. And often Neptune gives us that misty optic, I feel, where boundaries can get enmeshed, where what's illusion, what is, or we are falling in love maybe with the potential of someone, or with the illusion of how it could be, or the dreamy state, or the romanticizing, yeah, the dream we have, which may not be reality, or when the lights in the disco go on and in whatever 4 a.m. and it's been a great night, and then the lover doesn't look all that great anymore, and we have a little bit of an awakening, or as soon as, anyway, yeah, so there is to be, I feel, yeah, while it's a beautiful flowing energy, and also feel a great time, it's also very social, I feel, if we want to gather and celebrate this life with others. And also I feel allowing solitude, allowing that Aries nature of coming to ourselves. It's all about ourselves. And I feel this Venus is integrating that sense of self. Who am I now? What are my desires? Because Venus in Aries, the desire nature is strong. I want what I want. I see this and I want it. Or there is this person that I've feel a great attraction, and going for what we want, and which is a beautiful thing. And that assertiveness, and I feel, but then also being aware, yeah, where could I be disillusioned, or also maybe where does this dream come from? Does it come from a place? Is it a healthy place? Is it a place of wounding, and that, yeah, that romanticizing what isn't, maybe, or because maybe the object of desire may not feel the same, or there's, yeah, we're also different, and then often come expectations and how we wish the other to perform, to act. And so, yeah, it's interesting times, but overall I feel it's a beautiful energy, very creative, also to getting into any creative outlets, or also physically. I feel we're in a very physical terrestrial time where we want to move our body, particularly with a lot more Aries energy. We also have Mercury still in Aries. There is fast movement. We want to get ahead, and also our bodies at times like these, I feel we want to be a bit more vigorous, maybe with exercising and movement. So also any kind of martial arts and whatever we're drawn to. And I feel, yeah, because team Aries is very strong with Chiron, Mercury, now Venus, and Neptune in the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiacal wheel, initiating new ways of being. And we still have Saturn, planet Saturn, the boundary keeper, responsibilities, hard work, and also another one, a commitment to self, to that, yeah, the beauty of self-responsibility is still in close proximity with the karmic node of the moon collectively. So I feel we are taking responsibility. We are maturing. We've been going through a deep growing and maturity process. We're becoming wiser every day. And also, yeah, it's really that commitment. Saturn is the planet where we're committing to ourselves, to long-term visions and goals, to move ahead, while that might be slow and steady, which is the way to approach, particularly in the sun. Well, the sun is moving through the sign of Taurus for another about 2 weeks. So we are reminded to feel grounded, be in the body. Also a really great time, also any kind of therapies, any holistic counseling, body therapies, to really move this quite intense energy through our bodies. And while Venus is transitioning into the sign of the warrior god Aries, we could feel that the inner tension, the intensity of our inner world, because we just had the Mars Pluto opposition, and we're still in that. It's not over. We have another week where this energy is playing out, particularly as we just had the new moon yesterday, which is starting the new lunation, the 4 weeks, and this lunation has seen a very tense aspect. So we are still carrying tension within. Mars in Leo, beautiful energy, again, creative, warm, playful, wants to have adventures, move forward, feeling the fire. So we are having a beautiful fire energy. And it's also great that we have Beltane on the 1st of May, because it's a fire ceremony. So if we can make a fire, indoors, outdoors, and yeah, outdoors is always great, making a fire, because we can celebrate life, the abundance of all that is. So a great week to get together, gather, and make a fire, gather around the hearth. That yeah, it's bringing our jewels, our inner world to the fire, to the hearth, sharing with others. And also maybe we can have little rituals where we write things down, maybe burn things, put it in the fire, what is no longer serving, or what we wish to manifest in our celebration of life, and who we wish to become more of, and how we want to show up in the world more. And so also this week still holds that grand cross tension. As I talked about last week, Mars opposing Pluto in another square to Black Moon Lilith. And Black Moon Lilith she's the dark feminine, the furthest away, the furthest point away from the moon, from the earth, and which is the dark of the moon. So it's also referred to the suppressed nature, the dark feelings, or shadow aspects that we often don't want to acknowledge, we don't want to feel. And right now this is strong, because this suppressed sense of, we could feel a sense of betrayal, a sense of rage, or where we haven't been expressing ourselves, where we have suppressed our expression, moving into depression. And there can be so much in that bottom of the barrel, particularly Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, in square to Pluto, which is in the sign of the revolutionary rebel, wanting to transform these old patterns. Also around sexuality, there could be a lot coming up, especially if we are in an engaging intimately with another, there is a lot of old patterns, old wounds around sexuality from the childhood, maybe from how we grew up, of course, our early relationships and wounds from past relationships. It's all, everything is up. And there is a lot of the bottom of the barrel stuff that we thought, yes, I've healed that and I've done all that work, and then boom, it's up again, and we feel jealousy and we feel all the feelings that often are referred to as negative, or oh, why do you feel that and you shouldn't, and we feel ashamed and guilty that we feel the deepest depth of our beingness, which is all healthy, I feel. And it's so important that at the time we are right now, that we can see the beauty and the necessity to allow things to come to the surface. So it's really, really important that we allow everything that arises, of course, not in a way to project onto others, but to be very honest with ourselves. Pluto requires a deep honesty with ourselves, and where do I feel that pain? Where does it come from? And yes, the current situation might be a big trigger, because that's what we do in intimate relationships. We trigger each other, of course, because this is the playground where we are at our rawest, at our most intimate. So this is where the projection happens, and where we feel the greatest of pain, the greatest of love, joy, lust, everything, and the greatest of pain at the same time. So yeah, it's again a week of catharsis, purging, also talking it through with our trusted others, or a trusted therapist. There's so many ways. Or also very important to sit with what arises with ourselves, instead of just I want this to go away because it feels uncomfortable, or I don't want to look at that right now, and it will come again. Even we can ignore things and we can't move on, but then maybe whatever, come the next partner, or come a similar situation where we feel that so painful sense of rejection, abandonment, particularly if we had that in early years. And I've just been anyway writing an assignment about the schizoid characterology by Wilhelm Reich, and there is the early core wounding is one of rejection and abandonment, of not being wanted, which I very much refer to Chiron, the wounded healer planetoid. Also in the sign of Aries, we are healing the masculine, the feminine wounding, the patriarchal structures that are falling away, so we can be those divine beings in reception, in receiving and giving our celestial imprint in a terrestrial manner. And this is powerful, and particularly with the moon moving through Taurus, ruled by Venus. So Venus, again, goddess of love, beauty, grace, desires, finances as well, how our finances are tied into our self-worth. So we might also make adjustments when it comes to spending habits. What do we want? How can I create abundance, financial freedom? In the sign of Aries, she's powerful, feisty, she's moving along, as long as we can check in with ourselves. And when we feel that our actions are more reactions, then just noticing that for ourselves, and knowing how that might affect others. And so it's really then that Saturnian check-in, reality check of the beauty of self-responsibility, and how I want to show up in the world as a spiritual, divine, and mortal being. And also the other big energy this week, while we have all the squaring aspects, we have Pluto as the first planet now going retrograde after we just had that window of all planets direct. Pluto, Lord of the underworld, transformational qualities. He's going retrograde, and that's a big deal. I'm just going to look up for how long, because he'll be in it until I think October. Let's see, retro. Yeah, we're looking into early October, I think. Let's check exactly, then I can give you a date. Okay. Yes, Pluto going retrograde until mid of October, when Pluto stations direct. Woohoo! Going retrograde at 3 degrees of Aquarius, and stationing direct at 1 degree Aquarius. So that's a big deal whenever Pluto goes retrograde. Yeah, Pluto is like, yeah, the tanker in the ocean that is coming to a standstill, and we can already this week, because he will go retrograde on the 3rd of May. So we are only not far away, and already stationing. So Pluto is moving all the way, getting really actually, no, I'm stationing on the 4th and 5th and going retrograde on the 6th. So I will also talk about Pluto stationing retrograde on Monday next week again. But we're already feeling the intensity, because Pluto is the transformational quality. And when Pluto goes retrograde, we are readjusting, re-envisioning, rebalancing, and really we're going inwards with our, I mean, Pluto is about life, death, rebirth. It's intense. So it's a deep inner focus again from here on, with and deep honesty with ourselves, with others. And there is so much learning. And again, I feel with Pluto going retrograde, there is the wealth of inner wisdom. And I'm just reading out of the major arcana card in the tarot. Is this the second last card? Is the 20th card is the card of judgment, ruled by Pluto. And what it says here is, custodian of what has been buried alive. Pluto contains the complexes and patterns not adequately interred or psychologically completed. When this card appears, it suggests the past can be exorcised through accepting responsibility for what has occurred. In this card, Pluto holds the riches of the underworld. Ultimately, this is the wealth of self-knowledge and self-empowerment, constellated by the confrontation with the unconscious. And I feel that's a big deal this week. And as Pluto is going retrograde, something over the next many months until mid-October, for us to internalize, to move through, and a great, beautiful healing time. Whenever Pluto goes retrograde, it is a great time for healing, for therapy, for greater self-love. And so Pluto in Aquarius stations retrograde. The descent into Avernus is easy, but to recall your steps and ascend again to the upper world, that is the work. This is the task. So yeah, and out of my Retrograde Planets book by Erin Sullivan, she talks about Pluto. Yeah, Pluto's retrograde movement. She says Pluto's association with the frustrated, impassioned, but lonely lover is directly related to the god Hades, who had to steal love, and having done so, still had to relinquish the loved one for part of each year. Because, yeah, Pluto, Hades abducted Persephone into the underworld, and her mother Demeter, he released his beloved Persephone up. She went up to the upper world for half of the year, and then to connect with her mother, with Demeter, and then go back down into the other world. So there is this, yeah, a sacrifice in love. Pluto transits can invoke circumstances in which one becomes aware through experience of everything one ever wanted but cannot have. It can bring with it burning passion, unmet desire, and thwarted ambition. Yeah, what else does she say? It is certain that once Pluto has passed through a house in one's birth chart or repeatedly transited a planet or angle, something has died. And anyway, there is, what else did I want to point out? Yeah, it's just such a big, a conscious recognition of the depth of the nether regions of the soul has long been a ritual in most spiritual paths, and rightfully so. So it's, yeah, this is big, and so we'll be going through a deep inner process, and it doesn't mean that we are hiding away, or we not engaging with the world until middle of October, because I mean Pluto goes retrograde every year for 6 months, and or 5.5 months, and it's a time for us to contemplate who am I now, and to truly, especially when we're in relationship, and we always are in relationship with all that is anyway, but to work through these deep inner longings, desires, and everything that comes with it with another. And yeah, this is powerful. It's a powerful week and times coming, particularly with Venus being in such a strong aspect again. And yeah, everything, all eyes are on Venus. And yeah, so Beltane, the season of abundance, falls approximately halfway through the sun's transit through Taurus. This is the sign of nature, of embodiment. So again, we have a strong sense of our embodiment this week, and into, yeah, for this whole Taurian season, another 2 weeks. But I feel also with Pluto going retrograde, we are becoming more whole as humans, and I feel the sense what we feel in our bodies is becoming stronger and stronger. Everything we're feeling, we translate it into body sensations, being more and more aware of that. So our powers of manifestation are at their height, just as nature manifests all her beauty and lush growth. Of course, in the southern hemisphere, we are not having such lush growth anymore. Like things are decaying more and coming into a time of a great more reflection, but still on an energetic level, on as universal astrological invitation, we're becoming more whole, we're becoming more fertile, more lush, and in how we take responsibility. And one more thing I want to read out about Pluto from my other book that I love, The Codex of the Soul by Werther Luce. He says about Pluto, and this is Pluto speaking: my name means wealth, for as you surrender into the depth of my internal kingdom, the mysteries of your unconscious shall be revealed, a treasure chest of your soul's riches. In your willingness to release the old, to reduce to essence, to regenerate as the phoenix. But if you resist in every attempt to possess and in every tendency to obsess, you shall suffer under the terror of volcanic crisis. For I rule the abode of the shades, and I am the night's dense darkness. But if you just let go, I shall unveil the secrets of your soul. On that note, on a very light note, isn't it? On this light note, presented by fellow Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, woo, and Mars. I'll leave you to it, to celebrate life, to celebrate all that is, and allowing the Venusian sensuality, the fierceness of the divine and the otherworldliness of our physical experience. Thank you so much for listening. I love to hear from you. And if you want to share anything, I would love that, how you're feeling, how you're navigating. And also I do one-on-one readings. I love doing readings and helping you to tap into your greatest potential. So yeah, shoot me a message if you feel like that. Sending so much love, and bye for now. Hasta luego.